Annyeong, it's Mikey here, and I know I'm coming to you guys with another video this week, and I know it's another Epomaker board that some people might say, why am I shilling for Epomaker? It's just that they sent us out, and time-wise, it's really worked out that 2 Epomaker boards will be in 1 week. Now, today, I'm bringing you guys the G84, which is an incredibly budget TKL plastic board, so we're gonna have to go straight into the unboxing, take a look, and see, is this worth grabbing? So please, make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get right into it. So starting off with the unboxing of the G84. Thank you again, Epomaker, for sending me this out. Now, this board, the box in general is definitely going to be more on the budget side. You can definitely tell, though the cable itself is braided and is actually a lot nicer than most budget boards that bring out like a regular cable. You get extra switches, keycap puller, switch puller, which again are not on like the nicer side. It's just your basic ones. Now, the board itself, this is what it looks like. So it is actually a plastic board, and honestly, the plastic on this feels pretty nice. It does come with all the switches on the top. You have the different angles, USB dongle as well. So this whole board as a whole feels actually really smooth as well on the plastic. I was quite surprised with how it feels and that the actual quality was really good. Of course, we're gonna have to weigh this before we do a sound test, and this thing weighs 884 grams. Now, of course, we're going to go straight into the teardown. So let me show you guys what's the plate and is it a flex cut. So this thing is a flex cut plate. It is cut out, and honestly, I'm not a big fan of the flex cuts, but it's not a bad thing, right? It's just I'm not a big fan of how a lot of companies have been doing it, and it would be nice to see just more options and like a non-flex cut. Now, of course, I'm using this new tool. So I bought this new tool because if you remember the last video, I had a hard time opening up the KZZI, but this one actually I didn't need this tool at all. The tool actually was a bit too thick, and just using the thin one was actually much easier, and I was able to get all the latches out super easy. Quite surprisingly, this board is very easy to open up. Like, I was quite surprised. Now, one thing I realized while I was opening it is I popped off that top portion. Do you see that right there? So where all the switches are for the different Wi-Fi modes, as well as the Windows and Mac, yeah, it actually pops right off. I thought it was actually, once you remove it, you just have to carefully remove those parts. No, it's a separate part, which is actually good. It's a good thing. This means that it's going to be much easier to take apart, and you don't have to worry about breaking the switches, which I've done with the Mechlands Vibe. And so this is the top case. So this is gasket mounted. It's a gasket mounted board. The plastic on the top is actually not too bad. In terms of the thickness, it's about 2.4 millimeters. So in terms of the thickness, it's actually not too bad. It's not super thick, but it's not too thin either. And I did appreciate that Epomaker did a great job of making something like this. Honestly, I think Epomaker lately has been really stepping it up in terms of their boards and the quality that you're getting. The switches, as you can see, kind of pop off though, so careful on that. Now this is plate mounted stabilizers. It is clip-in though. And they do come pre-lubed. So I don't know if you guys can really see it in there, but it does come pre-lubed. And I did not hear too much tinging on terms of like using the space bar, a little bit, but not too much. And honestly, I think Epomaker has done a great job with the pre-lubing on these. Now, the back foam, I tried to take it off, but it just rips. It's really hard. It's fully taped on, and because of how it's taped on, it's actually really, really difficult to remove. I was hoping I could do it, but I couldn't. Now, the plate itself, so let me just try to actually focus the measurements here, but we're looking at, of course, a 1.2 millimeter thickness for both the PCB and the PC plate. So you're looking at a PC plate and a PCB that's 1.2. Really do wish that they brought out something a little bit more. Now, in terms of the actual PCB, I was able to luckily get a little bit portion out, and you can see it is flex cut, and you do see the cuts in the PCB itself. Now, on the bottom of the board, you saw there's a silicone, so the silicone actually covers up the batteries. And as you can see with the actual PCB there, one thing I missed showing you guys was the LED. So you see how the sides here have the plastic that's transparent? It's because the LEDs shine through. And also the battery here, as you can see, is a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. And I was thinking maybe that the actual like daughter board would be having like a port for both batteries, but no, it doesn't. It actually is only for one, and the other they just put the styrofoam to really cover up the empty space. Now, in terms of the modding, as we're gonna do here, do 2 layers of tape modding, of course, and then put this all back together, which actually was really easy to do. You just have to make sure to get that cover on for the switches for the back of the 2.4 gigahertz Bluetooth and the Mac and window mode. So very easy to do. Super simple, and honestly I felt that modding this board and opening up was really not too bad. Now, of course, I'm gonna mod the spacebar a little bit. I do find that there's a little bit of that hollow space sound from the spacebar, but not too bad. It's actually pretty decently done, but I do like to add a small tape mod just to help with it a little bit. Now, we're gonna do this, and of course, hear a sound test of the full modded board. Now, we did the unboxing, we did the sound test, and we did the teardown of this board. And I gotta admit, like, this board sounds really good. Out of the box, stock sounded really nice. Lubing the switches, of course, makes it a bit better, but definitely stock-wise was really, really good. I think this is a quite nicely done board that Epomaker did. And of course, I think these switches are better than the other switches that I've tried with Epomaker. Honestly, these remind me a lot of like the Gateron North, right? The is it called North? The Gateron North Pole, sorry. The Gateron North Pole switches, like these remind me a lot of those ones, or the Ice. And sounds really thocky. But of course, we're gonna have to go into more detail of taking a look of like the board, the switch, and more information and the software even. So let's get straight into that. So going into the board, let me let you guys hear the plastic. So the plastic quality on this board is actually really well done. It's super smooth. Like I'm talking about CNC aluminum, like really smooth ones. Like this plastic feels that smooth. I would say that this is really, really, really good. Like I was quite surprised in terms of the quality of this build. They did a really amazing job with it. And one thing I did notice though of this board though is that the angle on the bottom is not really comfortable if you're using a wrist rest. If you're not using a wrist rest, it's completely fine. And honestly, if you're someone who doesn't like wrist rest, this board could really work in terms of that because it'd be a little bit more ergonomic. But for someone like me who does use the wrist rest, it's really not amazing. Now, in terms of these switches, they do sound amazing. Like even stock, they sounded really great, and lubing them sounded even better. Let me hear you guys just how it is. So even when I was using it in the office, it wasn't actually too loud. And I know some people think that they're like, oh, you're using a board that's like this kind of Thock and loud. It's gonna be loud in an office space or at work. Honestly, it's really not that loud, and it sounds really nice too. So like I asked my coworkers too because they are around me, and is it too loud or not? And they say that it actually isn't, even though they're sitting right beside me. This is one of those things, like it really is not bad. You can use these in the offices. It really doesn't go over membrane keyboards. Now, the board itself has quite a bit of flex, as you can see, which really does provide a nice typing experience. One of the things is with flex, it does provide like a little bit more of a cushioning, which is really nice. And for someone like me who does have finger fatigue on non like flexing boards, or in general boards that have a little bit too much stiffness, it does hurt. Now, it's nice to see that there's a USB dongle portion there too, and the switches and everything. I do appreciate that they really did put the work to make it very simple and everything all on board, which is something I really do love. So this is the Epomaker transparent switch. This really reminds me a lot of the Gateron North Pole switches. Gotta be honest, like it's almost identical actually. Like look-wise, it's practically identical. But this does say Epomaker. It is Epomaker's transparent switch. I'm gonna be honestly assuming that it's going to be probably very similar in terms of the build, or maybe it's built by the same manufacturer. Now, does this have a lot of stem wobble? I see on the top end really does not have that much stem wobble. Really well done. I actually appreciated it where it doesn't feel like it was actually too wobbly. And then when you even get to the bottoming end, it really doesn't have that bad either. So as you can see with the keys here, it does move around, so you do get some, but it really isn't that bad. It's quite good compared to say like a Witchy Studio Mirandi's, which has tons of stem wobble. Now, of course, I want to give you the backlighting test of these switches, which are transparent, so it does look really nice. Now, going into the backlighting here, as you can see, the keycaps are shine through. It does look really, really, really nice. It's super, super bright. Like I was quite surprised. As you can see, the brightness is too. It was going from the lowest end to the highest end. You have many different brightness settings, but this is an incredibly bright keyboard. One thing for those that really do like a bright backlighting board, they're going to really enjoy this. And because these are like full transparent, you can actually see it really well, and the coloring won't be changed. Now, as you can see, as earlier I was mentioning with the PCB, you have the LED on the sides, you even have the LED right above the arrow keys, and you're able to really make different changes. And I'm going to have to show you more of that in the software. But first of all, let's go see the website. So going straight in, as you can see, this board is only 70 USD. It has a black, white, and a pink version. This, the one I'm having in front of me, is the black one, and then you can see there's the images of the different ones. Now, it does have the 80% build, it's tri-mode, and it has a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, as you can see. So it is PBT keycaps with the shine through in it, and the shine through was done well. The keycaps actually quality wise was actually not bad. I was quite surprised with it. Like I've seen other boards out there that's done shine through, and they weren't really that great, but these ones were well done. Now, not too much information otherwise for this board, but you have on the bottom the download section which has the JSON, meaning this board is VIA compatible, which is amazing. I'm so appreciative that Epomaker is really going back to the VIA support instead of doing that software. It means that they're listening, and it's super appreciative because VIA is way better than the basic softwares that are out there. And first, all you have to do, download it. Just make sure you put it into the folder you have all the JSON files, and then go in, click on it, and then boom. Oh, it didn't work. Do a second time, and then you should be able to open it up. So if it doesn't show up the first time, just make sure to do it a second time. And one thing I noticed, as you can see here, you have 3 different lighting choices. You have backlighting, you have side lighting, and logo lighting. So this is really well done. It means that you are able to change the lighting from the sides, which is awesome. You do the backlighting, so you can change the backlighting, means like where the keys are, right? Where all the keys are, you can change those lightings there. And also the logo, which means logo is right above the arrow key. Very, very well done. Really, really customizable, which is super appreciated, because I've seen boards out there where they have the RGB on the sides and above the arrow keys, but you can't change the lighting on there at all. It's just set, and then you can only change the back of the board lighting. This one, you can actually work with all of them, which is super cool to see. And again, I super appreciate how they did allow for this customization, and more boards really should allow that too. And one thing amazing about VIA is just it's so customizable, very easy to work with, and I really do hope to see more companies kind of just revert back to this instead of having a mediocre software. Though the software I saw has been getting better, I would say for now, the VIA would be great. Now, of course, going into Keyboard Inspector, we are getting 1,000 polling rate. I did try this for gaming, and it works perfectly fine. If you aren't someone that's going to be playing competitively or want the advantage like Hall Effect, this is going to be more than enough. Now, I do want to give you guys a sound comparison with the G84 because it's a budget plastic board with some of the other ones out there like F65 and the Inky. So in terms of the sound profile wise, I gotta admit the Vibe 75 and the F65 were really well done, but the G84 also sounds really, really good. I know that all of them really do have a Thock to it, but I have to consider like the whole build quality as well. The G84 was really built well. Like I said, the Vibe 75 didn't use super, super cheap plastics. The G84 also did not cheap out with the plastic quality that they're doing, and it really did sound amazing. Now, of course, I'll have the links in the description for you guys to be able to check out. Done like a detailed look of this board, and we compared it with some other ones, right? Like for example, the Inky 87, and this one is actually gonna be, I would say, a little bit better of a pickup for those that live in countries that is a little bit further out, because Epomaker does have more of a global shop available where maybe the shipping won't be as expensive compared to the Inky. The Inky's price honestly is really unbeatable. I would say the build quality on this G84 is better, right? You're getting a nicer build quality with the plastic than the Inky 87. The only thing is though, the Inky 87's price was just ridiculously cheap, like ridiculously. So if you can grab the Inky 87 without having to pay like crazy shipping, I would say that one's a much better grab because of the price and what you're getting from it. If not, and you are having to deal with like the whole shipping issue, I would say go check out the G84 because this is really well done. Yeah, it's about like a $25 difference in price. This is still incredibly well done, and the quality wise, I'm actually quite impressed with the plastics. I feel like it's not cheap feeling. In terms of say the build quality of the plastic, I would say this feels much more with a premium build than the Inky 87, and this one honestly has like just a nicer design to it as well, I feel, with really nice sounding switches. So I'll have the links in the description for this one. You should go check it out from Epomaker, and I'll have to catch you guys next time, but please go check out the other videos I got.